Hey guys, welcome in. This is Bob with KC Craps, and today we're going to talk about pressing. Specifically, pressing your bets on the numbers for either craps or crapless, and which method works best for you. So the three options that I'm going to go over today, we're going to go with just the straight collection. Person puts their money on the table, rolls come out, you collect. The second form that I will be talking about today is the half press. So say you've got $25 on a 9, it hits. I'm only going to raise it $25 more and collect the $10 off of that and just keep those half presses in line. The last form of pressing I will talk about today is the power press, where if you get $25 on a 9 and 35 pays on the 9, I go ahead and I power press it up to $75. I'll explain all that in the video. That's the three forms we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about the full press just because it gets into funny money with the way the bets are lined up, especially with like the 6 and 8. But we'll talk about it. We're going to run an example of it where all three of them are running at the same time. Demonstrate, find out who does the best here together on KC Craps. I got the dice and the chips already. You grab the beverages, grab a snack or two. Let's get started.
So today's video is all about the different ways of playing craps when it comes to pressing, not pressing, what kind of pressing, so on and so forth. So we're going to focus on three different ways. I've got $500 for three different players. And what we're going to do is one player is not going to press at all. Player number 2, this will be the person that doesn't press at all. This will be the person that does half presses, and this will be the person that does power pressing. So we'll have to set it up, especially with these two, when they really start to collect. I like to collect my first big collection at $100. So we'll do the same thing for these two, whereas this one will just collect what they are putting out. We'll see which one works best. I already can venture as to what's going to happen, but we're going to try it anyways. So all three will shoot, will be a simultaneous shooter. All three of them will have money on the table across, and there'll be identical bets every time. So to start off, what we'll do is each one of them will have a $15 pass line. And number 3. And then what will happen is we'll set them up at 160 across for all three of them. Yes, you probably wouldn't normally do that with this kind of a bankroll or just walking onto a table. But it's all about seeing which method works best as far as pressing or just straight collecting. So bear with me just a moment. Let me get this set up. I'll fast forward for you guys. Okay, we are all set. Everything is set up across the table, $15. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and just say we're not going to even mess with the pass line odds. We'll just put 15 on the table, 160 across for each player, and see what rolls. So let's start off with a roll here. We have a 6-3. That's going to be a 9 to start things. Grab our dice, and we're just going to roll out, see how everything works out. There is a 9 right back. So all three players are immediately going to get paid. 3, 3, 3. Okay, now here's where we're going to start to make a bit of a difference. Let me collect these up for each player. Yep, remember that they all started off with $500. Now, we know the point was 9, so how does each one work? Well, player number 1, this guy right here, is just going to collect. Player number 2 is going to just put a quarter on it and collect the 10. Player number 3, you get paid 35, so what they're going to do is they're going to collect the 10, but then they're going to complete that next 25 and go to 75 on the 9. Hopefully that makes sense. So just collect, half press, power press. Okay, Next come out roll we get boxcars. So all 3 of these will lose. I think what I'll do is I'll just pull the 13 from the rack every time they do wind up losing it, just so that I don't have to keep doing that. Next roll, 2, 3, 5. Now we'll just roll until we get a 7 or we hit the point again. All right, so there's 35. So player number 1 is just going to collect. Player number 2 is going to collect 5 and do just 1 unit up, make it $60. They'll rack the 5, and then this player right here, they're going to drop a quarter to power press up to 90. Like so. Easy enough. Next roll. It's a 1, 2, 3. That doesn't do anything for anybody. A 2, 4, 6. Same thing's going to happen here. Player number 1, collect. Player number 2, half press. So they'll take it up to 60. Collect the 5. And player number 3 will complete it up to 90 on a power press, like such. We get, there you go. You get a pair of 3s, which will give you a hard 6, and we'll do it again. So player number 1 just collects the 35. Get another stack of red. All right, so player number 2, they get paid $70. So they're going to make it 120. And then just take the 10 and put it in their rack. Player number 3, okay, this is our first $100 payout. So that is what they're actually going to collect on that 95 that they have right there. So they get the first black chip of the session, and they'll actually bank that. Next roll. There's a 5, 3, 8. Same thing's going to apply. And then this person gets paid 70, so they'll make it 120. Rack the 10. And then this person gets to collect that. It's 105 again. We'll move to the next roll. There's a 9. So we're seeing another familiar situation. Rack. Okay, so this will pay 70. So they're going to take their bet up to 100. And they'll rack 20. And then this person's going to get paid 105. And they'll rack that. Because that's the first black chip for that number. Let's get a little bit more red. And we'll toss. There is a hard 10. All right, so I'm going to need $1 from each of you guys for the VIG. Player number 1 will collect 50. Player number 2 will press it up to 50, bank the quarter. Player number 3 will make it 75. Easy enough. Next roll. There's an 8. Okay, so an 8 is going to pay this person 35. They'll just rack it. This person will make 140. They're going to rack that. There's going to be no pressure because it's their first black chip. So we'll rack that. And then this person is going to get paid 105 again. However, what's going to happen is they collected last time. So they are going to make it 100. That's 75. All right, so that's 100. I can't count. Okay, so it's 195 currently. To make that to the next bet, I would probably make it 150. I'm thinking 210 is probably the next logical step. So yeah, 210, and they'll rack the 10. $210. Next roll. A 1, 2, 3. Next roll. We get a 6, 3, 9. All right, that is going to pay, I need more red. Wow. That is going to pay 35. This is going to pay 140. They will collect that because that's the first hit on the 9 for them. And this person is going to make 105, but this is their next. They've already hit that once, so that is 175. We'll make it 200. They'll take the 5 and just drop a quarter, make it an even 200. There we go. Next roll is, it was bound to come. I was wondering when it was going to hit. All right, there we go. 7 out. Wow. That was a nice roll. You can see we got some black chips up on the table. We got black chips in the rack here. Overall, not a bad roll for anybody who may have been playing. And let's take a look at our rack. Let me pull these reds off real quick. So, player number 1, well, they've got 500 in green and another 100 in red plus that. So they're up over $600. Player number 2, I've got, let's take a quick peek. 1, 2, 3, 550, 650, maybe 700. And then player number 3, well, we have a lot fewer green chips. I've got one more black chip. So that's 300, 400, 530. So yeah, we can clearly see that the big winner right now is the person who did the half presses. And the reason that is, especially with a longer roll like that, the reason that is because not only are they allowing for some pressure to the table, but they're still adding chips to their rack, which allowed them to not have to put as much onto the table, risk it, just to try to get that big biscuit, if you will. So clearly, winner right here. This guy right here, he's tickled pink. He's working to get $200 above his initial buy-in of $500. That's pretty good. This person is a little fumed because they just started getting some black chips on the table and they're like, nah, I didn't get anything. But this person should be perfectly happy as our winner on this type of situation. We're going to do one more roll. I'm going to set it up for 160, so bear with me. You know what? Yeah, we'll make it 160 across for each player. Okay, here we go. Everything is all set up. Got my dice here. Point is off. Everything is ready for them. Remember, guy just collecting, half press, power press. Let's see where we can go. First roll is a 617, no worries. All 3 of them will rack $15 just for standing in front of the table. Not bad. Grab our dice. There's boxcars, so we lose it. Just for standing behind the rail. All right. Next, we have boxcars again, so they all lose 15. Should have been hopping that, shouldn't you? Put $5 on that 12, and that would have been $130 or $150 right there. But we don't play sucker bets, right? Next roll. We get 3, 4, 7, so we're going to get that back. 3, 6, 9 chips. Come on, dice. Let us have a point. Next roll. That's a 5, 4, 9. All right, we got a point. There we go. Here we go with our rolls. First is a 10. All right, gentlemen, I need $1 from each of you. So we got the guy who's going to collect, the guy who's going to half press, and the guy that's just going to press it all. Guy who collects, guy who half presses, and nothing going in the top one because he pressed it all. Next roll. That's going to be a 6, 4, 10 again. All right, so this guy owes me $1. I pay him 50. This guy right here owes me $2. And he gets paid 100, so he'll put the 100 there, put the 50 in his rack. That person is going to owe me $3, and they are going to get paid $150, and they are going to collect that. That's the first black chip for that number, so they'll just collect it. We'll go to the next roll. There is a 617. Game over. So let's think about this. Who won that hand? Can anybody tell me while you're thinking about it? And I'm cleaning up these chips. Who was our big roller that time? Was it the guy who just collected? Was it the guy who half pressed? Or was it the guy who power pressed? If you said the guy who power pressed, you would be correct. Why? Because when we got that 10, this guy bumped it up to 50, correct? This guy just collected the 50. This guy bumped it up to 75. The 10 hit again. This guy collected 50. This guy collected 50 because he bumped it up to 100. And this guy collected 150 because he had 75 on there. So our power press guy was the winner that time on a short roll. Lucky that he got a repeater. As you can see, I think all said and told, the best type of pressure would be this guy right here. For the simple fact, he's collecting as he is pressing. So therefore, in the long run, this guy will do better than obviously our power presser. Our power presser is banking on getting their money onto the table, collect as much as they can, and lose everything, essentially. Now, with all of that said, this guy, he's obviously your most conservative and probably the type of person that just sits there and lets the money run. Once he gets his 160, he may very well even pull his money off of the table. But all said and told, not a bad method, especially if you're able to catch a couple rolls where you're just sitting there passively collecting with every roll. I can't say you're doing wrong because you're still making money. It's just you have the potential to obviously make more, or this being the riskiest, boom or bust. So that is your pressure lesson for today. There is a third type of pressure that I don't like to use. It's called a full press, and I'll quickly show you that. If an 8 hits and I've got a quarter on it, that pays 35. The full press would then take it up to 65, and then you start moving into funny math, and I don't like doing that, especially to the dealers if I don't have to. So I stay away from full presses. These are the 3 types of things that I will do, intermix them depending on how the table is flowing and how the dice are going. So that's my presentation of a pressure system. Hopefully you guys liked what you saw. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Could always use those likes.
Okay, so we found out very quickly that the power press has the most boom upside, but also the biggest bust potential, especially like on a quick PSO or even a 3SO where you start to build up those numbers, and the person who is power pressing will have more money at risk on the table versus the person who is just doing like a half press where they're still collecting some money in while still raising the bets up. And finally, the person who's collecting is just smiling at the table, just taking the bets in. On a 3SO, that person will obviously do better than the person who is half pressing, or definitely the person who is power pressing. So those are the 3 forms that we went over. We could have, like I said, gone over the full press. I don't like getting into that and making it hard for the dealers, but that's how it breaks down. So hopefully you gain some information as to what pressing style you want to use, or no pressing style at all, and if this can benefit you the next time you go to the casino. If you liked this video, please give us a like. I'm also looking for more of your subscriptions. We're on our quest to 2,000, getting very close on that sub count. And finally, hit the bell notification. It'll let you know the next time I release a video here on KC Craps. Until next time, we'll see you guys.